We just got the news that the iPhone 14 is going to have the biggest changes this year. And if you're looking to grab yourself the iPhone 14, this is the video for you. It's your boy Yathu. If you enjoyed this video, like always, be sure to show your support. Share this video with your friends and family. Smash that like, subscribe, and let's get to it. Now, the iPhone 14 rumors are picking up, and it seems we just got some leaks related to the display, and we can see that the entire lineup is going to completely change. The iPhone 14 Pro models could see radical upgrades, whereas the regular iPhone 14 lineup could get a big shakeup as well, as the iPhone mini is going to be dropped in favor of a new 6.7-inch iPhone 14 Max. The iPhone mini has a huge cult following, but unfortunately it seems it translated poorly into sales, so in its place, iPhone will be introducing the standard Max model. Essentially, it's the same size as the Pro Max models, just with worse cameras, and you don't have the Pro Motion available. You can also see that the rumored pill-shaped camera cutouts will be present on the Pro models, and there are some concerns that the pill-shaped cutouts are pretty big, and in fact would cut more into your display than the notch ever did. But it turns out that the Pro models are in fact now taller than the regular models, so when you align the camera cutout and the notch, the pill in fact does not cut into more content relative to the notch. Now, when we take a deeper look at the leaks, we can note it seems that the bezels will get thinner on the Pro models relative to the regular. You can see that the 14 Pro has bezels that are half as thick as the iPhone 14, but on the other hand, the difference between the 14 Pro Max and the 14 Max is barely noticeable. So I would say it's fair to assume that the 14 Pro has the thinnest bezels, followed by the 14 Pro Max, and then we have the 14 Max, and finally the 14 will have the thickest bezels. We've also had a leaked video showing how 3D iPhone 14 mock-ups compare to the iPhone 13s. In a case test that was done, when you take an iPhone 14 and you try to fit it into the iPhone 13 case, the iPhone 14 will simply not fit, as the iPhone 14 will be a bit larger than the iPhone 13 was. And this is also the case with the iPhone 14 Pro. It cannot fit inside the iPhone 13 Pro case. As we already know, the iPhone 14 Pro is getting taller. But one thing that you can note as well is the camera unit is getting even bigger, and this is because of the new 48 megapixel sensors. Now, the iPhone 14 Max does fit inside the 13 Pro Max case, but the camera module is not going to be completely filled in, and this is because the 13 Pro Max has a triple lens camera system, but the iPhone 14 Max will house the same dual camera system like the regular iPhone 14. Now, the iPhone 14 Pro Max does fit into the iPhone 13 Pro Max case, but the camera module cut out on the iPhone 13 Pro Max case is too small for the iPhone 14 Pro Max camera module. So the key takeaways are the iPhone 14 Pro is getting taller, and the Pro modules will have larger camera modules thanks to the new 48 megapixel cameras. Speaking of the new cameras, the camera module will be 1.2 millimeters taller and 1.72 millimeters wider. So we can see Apple's not going for the more rectangular camera module, and the lens will protrude out more. This is all to accommodate for that new 48 megapixel lens and 8K recording exclusive only to the Pro lineup, and we can see the iPhone 14 Pro models are going to take camera photography to another level. But we also get some fantastic comparisons by Unbox Therapy, who has made a full replica dummy for the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and I must say that I give full credit to Unbox Therapy for this clip in this video. The comparison has brought to light that the iPhone 14 Pro Max will be thicker relative to the iPhone 13 Pro Max. The iPhone 13 Pro Max is 7.7 millimeters thick, and the iPhone 14 Pro Max is around 7.98 millimeters thick. To put that into perspective, the iPhone 12 Pro Max was around 7.4 millimeters thick, and we got an increased battery capacity from 3,687 milliamps to 4,352 milliamps in the iPhone 13 Pro Max because it was slightly thicker. So with the iPhone 14 Pro Max being around 7.9 millimeters thick, we can assume that the battery capacity can get an upgrade to around 5,000 milliamps. Now, we know that the iPhone 13 Pro Max is the king of battery life, and there's no other phones that come near it. And if the iPhone 14 Pro Max were to get the bump up in the battery capacity, along with this more efficient A16 chip, we can see a 20 to 25% increase in battery life, which is massive. Now, the iPhone 14 lineup is definitely a shakeup. For starters, it's great we finally get less of a notch, but regardless, Android phones, in my opinion, do a much better job, and it's about time that, that we lost a notch, and we should have lost a notch a long time ago. And on top of that, just to add, we still get the full notch on the iPhone 14 Max and the iPhone 14, and apparently losing the notch is a pro feature, and personally, this just seems very absurd to me. On the bright side, the powerful camera upgrades and the bump up in battery capacity definitely makes the iPhone iPhone 14 Pro model is very enticing. The regular iPhone 14 will look identical to the iPhone 13, housing the same camera module. The chip is also said to be the same A15 as on the iPhone 13, and the display will not be getting a ProMotion upgrade, so iPhone 14 users will still be stuck with that same 60 Hz. So the iPhone 14 is literally like buying the iPhone 13. So in that point, is it even worth the upgrade? I honestly feel the non-Pro models are really just there as an option, and the upgrades are so disappointing. But on the positive note, we are still getting a slight bump up in RAM to 6 gigs, which is cool and all, but the average user will not be able to notice the difference. Now, as for the iPhone 14 Pro and the iPhone 14 Pro Max models, they will be getting a chip upgrade to the A16 with 6 gigs of RAM. So the iPhone 14, the pricing gets very interesting. So the iPhone 14, we're looking at $799, that's around the mark USD, and then we're looking at the iPhone Max sitting at $899, and then we have the iPhone Pro at $1099, and the iPhone Pro Max at $1199-ish. And now, in terms of the consumer, I feel like majority of them are going to flock towards the iPhone Max. Around $899, you're getting most of the checkpoints for a lot of the consumers. But for me personally, I am more of a Pro and the Pro Max kind of guy, and I am going to be leaning towards the Pro Max potentially, but I feel like the Max is sitting at a fairly reasonable price. Overall, I am not an iPhone hater, but in fact, my daily driver is the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and I've never felt the need to have it upgraded. No new phone that has come out has screamed that my iPhone 11 Pro Max is outdated. Over the past few generations, the notches have remained the same. Cameras have seen slight upgrades, yeah, and performance upgrades are very subtle as well to be noticed by the average user. There have been some aesthetic changes and new colors to attract consumers, but I feel as if Apple is really falling slow behind their innovation game. Android phones, on the other hand, have done amazing. They've upped their zoom game, working on different phone models, trying to innovate foldable phones, and much more. While with Apple and the iPhone, we're still deciding and debating on which models should be getting the notches and which models should be getting the ProMotion display, which I think is very backwards and very absurd. But ultimately, I will be getting the models to unbox and test them out for you folks. And in the comment section down below, let me know if you are excited for the new iPhone 14 or whether you will be waiting it out this year. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to share this video with your friends, families, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe. Until next time, peace.